Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here from Visualized NZ, and it's a Monday, which means that it's time for the Deal It Up challenge. In front of me you may notice we've got a couple of extra piles than what we would normally have. If you're new to this challenge, then I'll just let you know, normally we work with 3 prompts. Occasionally I throw in a 4th, but I've had a request. Thank you, Susan, for making the request. For using all 5 sets of my prompts that I have. So I thought, why not? We shall give this a go. It's going to up the challenge a bit, and we'll just see how well it's going to work. Of course, you can make anything work. It just taxes your creativity perhaps slightly more than normal, depending on what we pull. So I'm just going to start at the beginning here, and I'm going to pull a card from each stack, and that will give us our 5 prompts. Are you up for the challenge this week? Are you game to give it a go? If you've never played before, then I would love if you joined in. If you just enjoy watching, that's fine too. No problem with that. But if you do join in, I would love to see what you make. So do go ahead, and if you use social media, you can post it on Instagram. Cosmetics is our first prompt. Post it on social media, so you can tag Deal It Up Challenge on Instagram, or you can pop into my Facebook group Visual Vibes and post a photo there of what you've made for the week. And you know, you don't have to do these in order. If you want to go back and do some earlier ones, if you're just waiting for the right one that sparks your inspiration, that's all good too. Hopefully there are some that just make you want to jump in and go, yeah, I want to do that. Okay, so our next prompt is going to be a repeating pattern. Cool. I'll talk about this first one in a moment. Right, so on to our third prompt. So these first 2, they're whole decks of cards, and these next 3, they're just a suit from a deck of cards. So there's less variety in these 3 last prompts. So we're going to use tissue paper. If you don't have tissue paper available, then please feel free to substitute a napkin or serviette. Fairly similar, so you know, swapping out something if necessary is completely okay. We're going to be making a journal card, and our last prompt here, I hope my camera doesn't run out of battery. I went to record this and saw that it needed charging, so if it cuts out suddenly, that'll be why. And we're using our favorite color. Okay, so that's the 5 things we are going to work with today. So first off, I'm going to start with what we're making. So I need a base for the journal card, and I've got this little scrap here of brown paper. It's from a pad of brown paper, and I'm thinking, how about making a squarish journal card for a change? I mean, why not? Snip that a little bit off, just check that it will fit on a page, because you know that's kind of important, isn't it, that it's going to fit on a typical journal page. And look at that, it might need to go in a belly band as opposed to a pocket, depending on the pocket, or it could go in a tuck spot, but I think that's okay. I think we can work with that size. Just in case you're curious, it is 5 inches or almost 13 centimeters by 5 inches. Almost, it is actually square. That's completely random, but it is almost square. Okay, right, so that's going to be my base, and we need repeating pattern. So straight away from repeating pattern, my mind is going to some form of scrapbook paper. But I'm also thinking, I've got my Flow book for paper lovers here. It's the only one I've ever had, which I picked up for cheap on Facebook Marketplace. And it's really hard for me to use because I just love it. I love looking through it. I love just absorbing. But I'm trying to actually use it because it's, you know, it needs to be used. So like there's these wonderful papers with repeating patterns on. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, that is very pretty. The little birdies. Got flowers. That one doesn't excite me as much. We've got a smaller version of the birdies. Perhaps we'd take this one because it's closer to my favourite colour. My favourite colour is deep red. I'm just popping the book back on the shelf so it's not in the way. So this is, you know, getting close to my favourite colour. So this is part of what's cool about this challenge too, is no matter, not only that what everybody makes is different, but things like your favourite colour, everybody's going to have a different colour or a different version of the colour. So if somebody likes blue, somebody might like a royal blue, another person might like a teal blue, you know, so there's different ways that it plays out, which is cool. So that's going to be our repeating pattern. Tissue. I have just some plain white tissue here. Or do I have any that I have done my 100-day project on? Let me just have a flick through. I know I've got napkin in here. Did I do tissue? And if I didn't, why didn't I? That would seem like an obvious thing to do, wouldn't it? There's a bit of tissue. It seems to be the only one though, so I need to do more mark making, more collage fodder onto tissue. I might leave the white out just in case I decide to go with white. Okay, so that's tissue, and this is stained with Distress inks, I think, from memory, or ink, some sort of ink. Okay, so that's our tissue. So we've got those two. Favourite colour, still need to add something that's more in line of my favourite colour. And cosmetics. Now for cosmetics, you may be thinking that's a bit random. Originally these decks of cards I created as collage prompts, but they also work for this process as well. So cosmetics, you could use cosmetics in terms of adding colour with like eyeshadow, for example. You just use it like a chalk pastel, or even lipstick or something like that. You might have to seal it so it doesn't come off, but you can use cosmetics as colour, or you can use an image of some form of cosmetics. So don't be put off by that. There's, you know, there's things that you can do. I am a little confused for myself though as to what I might have to hand that I can do. I've got some stamps that are kind of like cosmetics, but I haven't got them close. You may have stickers, like stickers of lipstick or something like that that you might want to use. So perhaps what we'll start is I'm just going to lay these down as my base decoration. So I might start just by, because I want to preserve this bird up here. He can be used for something because he's really pretty. Same bird as on the front of the paper, but larger size. Yep. So we've got a cool scrap there. Okay, and I'm thinking, just going to tear it. Oops, sorry birdie, I tried to get your tail in, but I failed. Got your tail in though. Something like that. I'm not sure which is the right side on this tissue. So I'm just going to do a collage on the front to start with. We don't need all the way down there, so might as well preserve as much of that as we can. It did not tear straight, but never mind. Right, and just along that bottom edge, about there. And then any overhang we can just trim off with the scissors. Right, I'm going to glue onto the base rather than try and glue the tissue. Just think it's probably a bit safer to preserve the integrity of the tissue. There we go, I think that's pretty well covered the area I need. And I don't care if it's got wrinkles in, I think it's quite lovely when it has wrinkles in. I'm smoothing it out just so that it glues down nicely and completely, and that's actually taking the wrinkles out. But if you want wrinkles, then you need to kind of like bunch it up as you're placing it down. Risking getting glue on my mat there, but never mind. Okay, so now I'm going to put glue on this bit. Get rid of that. And that brown paper, I don't need to back it because it's already capable of being written on, which is a bonus. Bonus to use up a scrap as well out of my bin. I might have to pause and go and find something for the cosmetics. I am now in shoes and socks. I wasn't due to go into shoes and socks until at least Tuesday. But it got to the point where I felt the moon boot was actually causing me more issues than it was, you know, resolving. So my husband and I agreed that I could try being in shoes and socks at the weekend. And so I did, and actually finding it better. I still get quite sore by the end of the day, but I'm feeling less effect in the rest of my body from, because the moon boot's really high, so it puts you off balance to start with. And the surgeon did say you can't wear it too long because it affects your hips, you know, because you're so, yeah, off balance because one leg is so much higher than the other. And so I was starting to get a bit of sciatic pain and stuff from that, and it was like, yeah, I want to try shoes and socks, and it's so much better. Still on crutches, still in the wheelchair at times, but yeah, making progress, which is fantastic. So good. Right, there we've got our tissue and our repeating pattern. Favourite colour. What have I got to hand? I'm not sure, to be honest. Although I just spied this. It's a bit of fabric, and it's pretty close to my favourite colour. It's perhaps a bit more browny, but it's still pretty darn close. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to tear off a strip and get rid of the multiple of strings. It's got a grit on it from something. Trying to get it off. There it goes. Okay, I think that's pretty good for bits. Now where would I like it? I think I like it there. just straight down. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to grab my alcohol-based glue, which is one of my preferred glues for fabric. It's called Premium Craft Glue, but it's an alcohol-based one. So it does get a bit pongy if you have it open too long, or if you use it quite a lot during the day. I've sometimes got to the end of the day and wondered why I've got a headache, and if I think about it, sometimes it's because I've been using the alcohol glue a lot during that day. But to be fair, I haven't been using it a lot lately. My tacky glue is good for most things. Oops, come on. It's not wanting to come out. It's going, you haven't used me in ages. I don't want to work for you. Come on. It's also getting down a bit too, so it's probably just taking its time to get to the bottom of the bottle, to the nib. Gosh, it's taking forever to get enough glue out for this. Oops. Right, I think I'm going to call that good. I love this little frayed edge. It's really fun. And just this little angle here just adds, you know, that bit of randomness to it, which I really enjoy. I think that's looking pretty good. And I put it down the wrong side. I put it down the bottom instead of the side. Are we worried? Not at all. That's absolutely fine. Right, so that's going to be my favourite colour aspect. My favourite colour is a deep red, sort of more winey, but that's going to be absolutely fine. So cosmetics. I'm unlikely to find any cosmetic images in my children's books that I do have to hand, so they're not going to help me on this one, I don't think. I do have a lipstick sticker somewhere, but do you think I'll be able to find it? In the drawer that I can't actually pull out because they don't come out, which is really annoying actually. Let me just have a wee look. I am still here, so I hope you can hear me because I am turning away from the camera a bit. I'm just going to have a flick through the drawer and see what I can find in my sticker drawer that might work. It's either that or pop you on pause. So let's try this, and hopefully it doesn't take too long just to quickly flick through here. Not coming up with much so far. I know it's one of those ones that will probably be right at the bottom. Yep, cars, they're not going to help. Nope. Come on. No, not baby stickers, they're not going to help. Well, I've reached the bottom and I didn't find it. I know I do have one somewhere, but in thinking about it, it's probably a bit small for the size of this card anyway. I can't round these corners. Maybe I can. Just while I'm thinking, I thought, do I want to round the corners? Can I get that in? Oh, yep, it worked, kind of. Can I get this one? Yep, I might need to add glue to those corners because obviously they're not glued down. Yep, got that one. I will ink this with aged mahogany, which is a deep reddy brown. So that's leaning in towards my favourite colour as well. So I might do that now. I'm filling in time while I think about this one. So grab out my aged mahogany and a wee sponge. And try and get along the bottom there. I am wishing I'd put the fabric on the way I intended, but never mind. You're not going to worry about it, because at the end of the day, only I and you guys know that I put it on differently to how I meant to. Anybody else would look at it and think it's fine. Right, so there we go with the yank. Right, I am going to pop you on pause because I do need to go and find something for the cosmetics. So hang on a tick, I'll be right back in the shake of a dog's tail. Okay, I'm back. For you, whoops, sorry, I just tapped the tripod. For you, it wasn't very long. For me, it took a few minutes. I needed to find a particular type of magazine, which is just your general women's magazine. So this one is from 2001, so it's, you know, it's an oldie. It's already had bits cut out of it, but I am positive we're going to find something in here, because I found my gardening magazines. It was like, well, probably not going to find cosmetics in there. I found a yachting magazine, probably not going to find cosmetics in there. So I was looking for a woman's type magazine and found one. I've got magazines all over the place, so I knew I'd find one somewhere. So just flicking through, looking for something in the cosmetic line. Okay, so straight away here we have something. We have nail polish. I count that as cosmetics because it's something you add on to look pretty. So grab those out and let's see what else we might have. I mean, if you're really struggling, you could almost take something like this. It looks like he's wearing blush. You know, at a stretch, just if you're short on ideas. Let's see what else we can find. I'm sure there's probably more in here, maybe. If not, well, we were fortunate to find the nail polish. Okay, it's not looking too flash hot. Might be on the pages I've already hacked into. Who knows? Okay, well, it looks like we are working with nail polish today. And that's fine. I love these little swatches that they do. I think they are really cool. Actually, I'll use my big scissors just to cut out. You know, or you could use like an image like this where she's obviously wearing cosmetics. No, but I'm not going to use that. That's going in the bin. Really like these metallic shimmer ones. They're very pretty. I wish they wouldn't put the like writing on top of them. Is the only thing. And this one is kind of tying into the. It's a little bit pinker, but you know, it's kind of working with the colours. I think anyway. I think I can get away with it. So I'm going to cut some of these out and see what we can do with them. Fun shapes too. Just add a bit of randomness and artiness, which is super fun. Any swatches like this I'm really drawn to. I think they're just really interesting. You know how sometimes they'll like break up a little bit of eyeshadow and have it sitting beside the container, or face powder, or you know, or any of those types of things. You know, they'll often do a smear of something, smear of lipstick. I just love all those because they're really arty. It's like a paint swatch, but it's makeup. Isn't that fun? I think that's fun, and I'm having fun. So I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're up for this challenge, inspired by it. And don't be put off, you know, if the prompts are a little bit challenging. I mean, that's the point, is to help break you out of your comfort zone, to push you to think in a different way, as well as just having some fun and creating something you might not have otherwise done. Okay, do we want the silver or the more pinky one? I'm thinking the more pinky one. What was on the other side? A goldy one and a more neutrally one. Oh, I put the bit I wanted away from me. That was silly. I'm not sure how many of these, so don't worry, I'm not going to cut them all out. Just want enough to try and make some sort of arrangement on the journal card. Right. Now I don't know if I want to use all of these or how I'm going to do this. I think that's kind of fun. Sorry, I went completely silent there. I was just busy dreaming, contemplating. Slide that one in under there. No, I don't think I need it. I think I'm just happy with these three. Okay, so I'm going to use my tacky glue for this because it is going over top of the fabric. Gosh, it's very warm inside here. It's very, very wet outside. And as I said that, the rain just got heavier. It's just so wet. Right, I need to make sure that it's got a little light shine on side, so I need to make sure I kind of line them up so they're all facing the right way. Because your eye, even if you don't consciously kind of realize that, you'd probably look at it and go, something's not quite right, and it would be that the light's in different directions. So I am paying attention to that, because it is quite obvious on these. Sometimes it's not as obvious. But yeah, I think if I put them in different directions, I think the eye would say, something's not right. Look at those fun shapes. Aren't they just fun? Right, and this little dot up the top here. Kind of giving it a little bit of dynamic there on the angle. Okay, now you know I love to add labels and things, so we're going to do that. We're going to dress it up a little bit. I am thinking about some sort of focal element, like we've got birds and flowers in the background. I mean, we could even use our birdie, our bigger birdie here, although he's not overly large, is he? would he fit in my circle punch? Ooh, oops, if I don't drop him, he might. Can we chop a little bit of his tail off? Would that matter? I think I'm going to go for it. Just a tiny little bit of his tail's lost. And then that just kind of brings us across here, doesn't it? Okay, I'm liking that. I am going to ink it. I shouldn't have put the aged mahogany away, should I? Never mind, it's only in the drawer beside me. Okay, let's give that ink around. Okay, oops, put them like that. Do I want any book text? Let's have a look. Could use a bit of music. Just don't like that straight edge there. What does that look like, or does it need to be something sort of vertical? Still looking. Maybe a bit of vertical music. No, it definitely needs to be up in this corner, maybe a little bit narrower. Ah, you tear a bit off and you tear a bit more off and you create smaller and smaller scraps. Yes, I like that. I mean, I don't think it's essential, but I just like it. I like adding, as you're probably aware, if you've watched me more than once, I do love using layer book pages and music and things like that. It just, layers add so much interest. I'm just taking the opportunity to add in more of that sort of darker red. I'd even set it like that. Yep, do something like that. I'll probably go down different to how I had it, but that's okay. Oh, darn it. Clean off a bit of glue there. Okay, put our bird on top. And then I'm still thinking label. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about a label. Heaven forbid. Kind of like that. Okay, so a label is our next step. Just going to pop cap on my scissors before it gets lost. And what sort of label? This is the question of the day. Right. we want a coloured label. It kind of ties in with the cosmetic. It's Harrison's Colombian Perfumery. These are from 9 of Crohn's, these labels. I think I like it over there. Okay, yep, I'm going to use that one because it appeals to me. And I can't get those back in right now, so I'm not going to fight with it off camera. Or on camera, I should say. I'll pop those once I've stopped filming. Let's give it a bit of an edge with our aged mahogany. Right. So I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Maybe you had better weather than we had here. But it is winter here in New Zealand, so I guess we can't complain too much. And we hadn't had a lot of rain really, and we've certainly, I haven't looked at the stats, but I wouldn't be surprised if we've had at least a month's worth in just a couple of days. So it's extremely wet. Okay, I like that. I don't think I need anything. I just like that repeating pattern working for the prompt, and then it's got writing space on the back. So that is my response for the prompts. So if I just pull out the cards again, just to refresh and go over what we did. So we've got a journal card. We have a repeating pattern here, and you probably can't even read that because it's quite tiny. I don't even know if that's focusing, but there we go, repeating pattern. We have favourite colour, and that's a really pale one, so you probably can't read that either. I need to go over those pale ones so they're more visible on camera. We have tissue, so we've used our coloured tissue in the background there. And then we've got our cosmetics, which I think is probably going to be the trickiest one for people. But it is totally doable. So, you know, I've given a couple of ways that you might be able to include cosmetics, some ideas for you. So don't be put off with it. Grab the challenge and see what you come out with. I'm sure you'll make something beautiful. I'm just going to go in here with the tacky glue and get these corners that weren't glued down. But that is my video for the day. And I hope you enjoyed it. Even if you don't do it, I hope you enjoy watching. If you haven't subscribed, then please hit the subscribe button. It's super helpful for me, and I love knowing you're out there. Say hi. Tell me how your weekend was. Until the next video, take care everybody, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.